Welcome back to BBB Sharing. I'm Evie, Director of Ignite, sparked by BBB. We are here in the Ignite podcast studio once again. Today, our podcast is a little bit outside of what we usually do. We have a remote podcast today, but my wonderful guest is from Hercules Fence, Jay Klebanoff. Jay, welcome.
Nice to be here.
Perfect. I'm glad to have you. I'm glad we could finally get you on the show. This is more of an ideal situation for us now, being able to do remote podcasts, because we can get access to a lot more of accredited businesses that are across Virginia that can't get to us here at the brick and mortar location. So welcome. And we're going to go ahead and talk about Hercules Fence. But first, I do want to mention that you guys have been accredited for sure over 30 years, but I will make sure to put the exact number in the description box for people that are watching and listening, because being an accredited business is a big deal. It's a huge deal. Whether people realize it or not, our consumers come to us all the time with concerns. And so being able to have the opportunity to interview accredited businesses like yourself is such a great opportunity for our audience to listen to.
Yeah,
So Jay,
go ahead.
yeah, welcome. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about
Well,
Hercules Fence.
well, first of all, let me do a plug for the Better Business Bureau, since we have been faithful members for over 30 years, and we feel like it's hard for consumers sometimes to differentiate between companies that have been around and are solid and stand behind their work, and others that come and go. And so we felt like it was a important commitment to make for at least these 30 years to the Better Business Bureau. We happy to be members for this time.
Well, we love to hear that, because whether or not our consumers realize it, each and every one of us are consumers, whether we're looking to do something in our home, or we're looking to buy a car, or we're looking for a counselor to help us with something that's going on in our lives. Being able to rely on an accredited business is so important. So as consumers, we should be thanking the businesses that are accredited, because you allow us to have a massive database that provides information for them to maintain security when they're doing business in the marketplace.
Exactly. Yeah.
Kudos to you guys. But that being said, tell me about Hercules Fencing. What all do you do and what do you specialize in?
Okay. So first of all, Hercules Fence celebrated its 70th anniversary
Wow,
last year,
congratulations.
2025. Yes, it was started in Norfolk in 1955, and then my family bought the business in 1986, and I got involved in 1990. I'm the CEO, and we expanded starting in the late 90s. We opened up in Newport News, we opened up in Richmond, we opened up in Manassas. Then we went on to have locations in Jessup, Maryland, and Frederick, Maryland. And so we have 6 locations. We do anything from fixing the gate at your house, doing residential fencing, to the biggest jobs at the biggest data centers. We work all over the country on what's called Hercules high security jobs.
Okay.
We have secured the Pentagon. We've secured major naval bases. The home of the Washington Commanders. I mean, we really run the
Wow.
gamut.
I was wondering, when I went to your website, I saw the Washington Commanders sign up at the top, and I was like, all right, there you go. There's that support.
Yeah, we are
But
sponsors of the Commanders, the Washington Capitals, the Washington Nationals. Yeah, so we're happy to be a part of the community. We also, and we can talk about this a little bit later, but we also believe in being good stewards within our communities. So we give to probably 30 to 40 charities each year. We support the food banks in locations we're in, and we really believe it's important for Hercules to be part of the community and help support the communities we're in.
I think that's wonderful. Part of having an amazing culture in a workplace is being able to provide and give back to the community in that sense. It gives you that sense of purpose. It's why I love doing what I do here at the BBB. I feel like I'm always, every single day, giving back. And it gives me that passion and support every single time I walk into this place. And I do interviews like this, or I speak with a consumer. It's absolutely amazing to be involved and have that involvement and that opportunity. So tell me about some concerns that your consumers have sometimes that you've seen in your industry that you guys address? Maybe on a
So,
daily basis, maybe not that often.
well, hopefully not on a daily basis, because hopefully most of the jobs that we do go well and the customers are happy from the get-go. But, I think you really separate yourself from the competition in how you handle the issues.
Absolutely.
And our tagline, which we believe in strongly, is security in every job. And what that means is not only are we providing security for your home or business, but you also can count on Hercules to stand behind our work. So we take great pride. We commit to having superintendents for our work. A lot of fence companies don't do that. They just have a salesperson and
Right.
then the installation team. We commit to having superintendents, and what those folks do is if you have a problem, you get that superintendent immediately. They take a look at what's going wrong, and we make a point of getting out there and getting it fixed. I mean, we're all, as you said, we're all consumers. We've all had issues at our apartments or houses where you hire somebody and you have that little doubt about whether they're going to come through and come back when
Yeah.
things don't go well. And we try to dispel that for our customers. We make sure that we do stand behind our job and they can count on Hercules Fence.
Wonderful. So when somebody contacts you, what does the process from start to finish for your consumers look like?
Okay, so hopefully in this day and age, people primarily find us online,
Right.
and so we
Usually
try to
it's a
have,
Google search.
yeah, we try to have a vibrant, relevant website, and we're actually redoing our website right now. We try to do that every 4 or 5 years, and once they find us, whether they call or they fill out an online form or they email us, then you're going to get to a salesperson pretty quickly, and they'll arrange to come out to your house and take a look at what you have going on, make recommendations. The other thing that we emphasize is really putting yourself in the shoes of the consumer. So the consumer may think that they want something, but that idea they have may be very expensive.
Right.
It may be something that's not practical for their home or business. And so we try to have a value added proposition where we make suggestions based on what we would want if
Right.
somebody were coming to our house, home, or business.
I love that you said that because so many consumers, the consumer always thinks they're right about everything, or they think they have this idea in their mind of, I want this and I want that. And I'm only saying that because I can be very stubborn like that myself with things. I for sure want this color on my wall, or I definitely want my door to look like this. But the reality is, it's important for us to trust the professionals with the process because you all are the only ones that know. Oh, I just got an answer to how many years exactly you all have been accredited.
Okay.
That 20, no, 30 years. It's been 30 years.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're looking at maybe Richmond. We've been
Right.
because we opened the Richmond office in 1998.
And each
So
office is different too because they do accreditation based off of where that headquarters is.
yeah, so
So we can definitely get
yeah,
a definite answer, and that will be in the description box along with your websites for
okay,
all of the locations, because I can only imagine those might be more accessible that way for people too, for you guys to have, resources for them to get to Hercules Fence. But
right.
if you are a consumer and you are listening to Jay, I highly suggest that you take into consideration the professional's opinion on these things. We all think we're right about this stuff. We're not sometimes. Sometimes we don't know that what we're asking for is either not attainable for us or it's just not the right fit for what we're looking for.
Yeah, and there are a plethora of products now. So
Oh, I can only imagine.
yeah, 25, 30 years. Well, first of all, when I first started 35 years ago, most of it was either chain link or wood. That was it. People did chain link, they did wood. Then you had the advent of aluminum fencing, the aluminum ornamental. So it took the place of the old line steel, that wrought iron that was expensive. The aluminum really made it easier for the consumer to afford a beautiful ornamental fence. Then you had the advent of PVC, polyvinyl chloride or plastic fencing, And it started out and, it was either white or tan.
Right.
Um, and then they introduced these wood grains where unless you're right up on top of the fence, you can't tell whether it's wood or PVC. And then the advent of these horizontal fences. And I'm sure you've all seen that a lot of contemporary homes
Yeah.
like to have the horizontal fence. It's a great look. And that's available now also in the wood grain PVC, or regular PVC. And then, in addition, then came these composite materials. People have heard of like AZEK. There's a company called TimberTech that makes. There's a host of them that make a kind of wood and infused plastic composite that doesn't fade, it doesn't rot, and so those have really taken the market. So when you have somebody come out to your house, there's a lot of choices now, and you really need somebody who's got some expertise and has had experience installing some of these new products.
That I have to agree with. When a lot of people and I want to touch base real quick also on people that already have existing fences, whether it's commercial or residential. How often do you suggest people keep up to date with checking those fences out? Because I know that sometimes accidents can happen and that's out of your control. But then there are other times where as it is our responsibility to make sure that we're keeping up with what is on our property.
Yeah, I think it's just important now. A lot of whether it's fashion, whether it's buying shoes, a lot of us, see what we like
Right.
in other people, and it kind of gives you ideas. And it's the same thing with fencing. You drive around and you see what's out there and what strikes you and what fits your property. And so that's a start. And then when you call an expert company like Hercules and we come out, then we can let you know, is that practical? Is it affordable? What are the pluses and minuses of that product? Give you a comfort level. The key that I think, and I found over the years, is for our representatives to give you as the consumer a mental vision of what the final product's going to look like. There are so many issues that evolve from, oh, I didn't know it was going to look like that, or I didn't know it was going to feel like that. And if you can let them know ahead of time, then they'll either decide not to go with that product, or they'll
Right.
have a better feel for what it's going to be when it's installed. So we really emphasize that as well.
I think that's wonderful. How many different discussions do you have with the client before you make the final decision with them? Is there like a certain process that you guys go through where you're like, hey, I really want to make sure that you're happy with this because once it goes into the ground, it's going to be really hard to undo everything.
Well, let me ask you something. When you're shopping for a new dress, sometimes you see it and you put it on, you're like, that's it. I
Right.
got it, right? And other times like, I don't know. You want to go ask a friend or ask your sister or whomever. Um, it's the same thing. Some customers are pretty sure and quick to make a decision. They get a comfort level with us. The price is within their budget, and they make a quick decision. In other cases, yes, they might. Maybe it's the wife that we saw initially, and she wants to know, can you come back and talk, with my husband as
Right.
well? They want to talk it over. So it varies, but I'd say that in most cases, we find out within a week to 10 days if somebody wants to go ahead with the project.
Oh, well, that's wonderful, actually. I think that that's a fair amount of time for people to take into consideration what they're committing to. Now, this may seem like an odd question, but you mentioned wife, and it's something that our own CEO has experienced when he was renovating or actually constructing his new home. And he was looking for new doors for his backyard. And the company that he asked said, have you had a discussion with your wife before we come out there to finalize a look for everything? And he said, no, that's an odd question to ask. And they said, well, we have this rule kind of where we make sure that the spouses are in agreement before we even come out there. This may seem far in left field, but is that something that you guys take into consideration?
Um, it's interesting. I mean, that's another aspect. of the sales process that's changed over the years. That the majority of the time, not the vast majority, but the majority of the time, it is the woman
Yeah.
of the household that we're seeing first. Um, and I'd say in most cases, they make the decision. We don't have to go back out and meet with the husband. Um, look, it's the year 2026, and women are powerful. So, um,
I have
y-
to agree. I have to agree. It's usually the woman that makes the final decision because it's the woman that wants to see the changes around the house for mostly, especially when it comes to something being more aesthetically pleasing. So while we're on the topic of aesthetics, tell me about the
well, let
different
me just tell you. Let
fences.
me just tell
Oh
you
yeah.
a quick story. I have had the pleasure of building two homes with my wife, and I can definitely reinforce what you're saying. The key to a happy marriage is when it's 50-50 on which way we want to go, defer to the wife.
That's good advice. That's
Yep.
really good advice.
Yep.
So you guys, with your experience, what are the types of the different types of fencing that you guys offer? And in particular, any new styles that are popping up that you're seeing being a bit more popular, especially going into 2026?
Yeah. Well, again, the horizontal uh, look has really become very popular, and we can do it in wood, as I mentioned. We can do it in there's actually aluminum now that has a wood grain look.
Oh, wow.
That you can do it in aluminum, you can do it in a composite, you can do it in PVC. All the manufacturers have really gone in that direction to make it available because it's a great looking product. It's really a great looking product. Um, and then the traditional, the wood, we still do not as much wood as we used to, but we still do some wood. And the aluminum ornamental is still very popular. Most, people have different reasons. If you're putting in a pool and you want privacy,
Yeah.
then you're going to want a privacy wood or privacy PVC. But a lot of people live
Which
on
fair
lots where they have a
enough.
great view and they want
Yeah.
to be able to see through the fence. So,
This may seem like an odd question, but I just thought about it. Do you guys do any type of glass? Not
glass
necessarily
rail,
glass. Yes.
yes, yes, we do.
Okay.
So I'm glad you asked about that, Evie. So our we have a company called Hercules Custom Iron. It's based in Frederick, Maryland, but it can cover Virginia and Maryland. And we can make, honestly, we can make anything. We have done, if you go to the website for Hercules Custom Iron, we have done some dazzling work.
Wow.
Um, Stair rails, amazing fences, pergolas. I mean, they can make anything. And so we do glass rail out of that division. We also do cable rail. You see that
Okay.
on balconies. We can do
Yeah.
cable rail as well. So yeah, if you can dream it, pretty much we can build it.
I think that's wonderful to have access to that because there we live in a world where we have social media now and everything is at our fingertips. We see something on social media in a house and we're like, "Oh, we really enjoy that," or "I love that." But where do I go to find something like that? And so the first place to go is probably you guys to get it customized because the chances of finding it just readily available online very slim, especially if you're looking for that specific thing.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to have, what's your favorite animal?
Dogs.
Okay, so if you wanted to have gates at your house that had your initials and matching dogs on the leaves,
Oh, that's so cute.
we can take our laser cutter in our Frederick plant, Hercules Custom Iron, and we can cut exactly the design that you have in mind.
Oh, wow, I love that. What's the most interesting fence? Either interesting or in your mind, you've looked at it and you're like, this is why I do what I do, that you guys
Uh,
have put up.
Oh my gosh, we just had our annual meeting in Richmond this past weekend, and we were showing our projects from the past year, and there were just some amazing jobs. Um, there's a job that we did for the Supreme Court,
Wow.
actually, in DC, and they wanted some really elaborate looking gates And you can see these gates on our website, Hercules Custom Iron. They're so beautiful. And the Supreme Court was so thrilled that they've had us back to do other kinds of fencing for them since. But we also have a division called Hercules High Security, and that division can do all kinds of intense perimeter security work, whether it's wedge barriers or these bollards that come out of the ground and then retract. And so we've done some work at some very high secured buildings in the
Wow.
DC area and in Richmond um, through Hercules High Security.
I think that's wonderful. And you guys, does that tend to be mostly for commercial properties? Or do you guys do
But I'll
some
tell you
residential
now,
too?
we also have a product called Fancy Fence, and
Okay.
we are the national distributor for it. And it is a fence that actually comes out of the ground and then retracts. And as you can imagine, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
And we've done some high-end properties in Florida and Texas with it. So we've done some pretty elaborate residential jobs.
I love that. That is so cool. So all of these things people can have access to online just to see a gallery of all of the work you guys have done.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's
They can
wonderful.
start with the Hercules Fence website. And if they don't find it there, if they want something really elaborate and custom, go to the Hercules Custom Iron website.
Awesome. And I will have all of those links under the resources tab in YouTube and of course on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well.
Wow.
Jay, oh yeah, I make sure if people want to access you, I make sure they have a way to access you guys.
Great,
But
Abby.
do
Thank
you
you.
guys have any other details or any information that you want consumers to know about?
I just want to reiterate that we've been around 70 years. We have a wonderful culture here. It's a people business. There are, 10 fence companies that could build you an ornamental or a wood fence, but our people make the difference.
Right.
And as I said, we believe in security in every job. It's not just a tagline. We believe in it. We stand behind our work. And if anybody isn't happy with one of our jobs, they can call the CEO directly, and I'm happy to talk to them. But lastly, I'd say that we're proud to be part of the communities that we're in. We try to support the communities and be a community player. So we're very proud of our legacy, and we appreciate this time. As I said, we believe in the Better Business Bureau. I think it fits with our culture,
Right.
and we're looking forward to the next 70 years with the BBB.
I love to hear that, Jay. I can tell the passion and commitment that comes through, and I'm sure everybody else listening can as well. Thank you for joining us on BBB Sharing. Everybody that is watching on YouTube, BBB Central VA, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. It really helps the algorithm out. And if you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or RSS.com, please make sure to follow us and share it out as well. Thank you.